Good afternoon and welcome to week 4 of the Personal Development Accelerator program. And this week we are going to be looking at self-leadership and personal responsibility, and then goal setting and vision board. We are now in the second category, the action and execution skills. The first 3 weeks we dealt with the inner foundation and personal mastery skills. So now we are getting into action and execution. So we've been talking about the fact that growth begins from the inside out. So we dealt with the inner part the first 3 weeks. Now we're going to be dealing with the outer part. This is our response based on the work that we've done within. So the first topic today is self-leadership and personal responsibility. Remember, this program is for coaches, mentors, parents, teachers of young people. And it's like a dual thing. It's not just for the children that we are going to be impacting, but it's also for ourselves. This is also a personal growth program for you because you can only give what you have. You cannot give what you don't have. The reason why some people might be teaching and it looks as if what they are teaching is not reflecting in their life is because they have not become it. They are not first practitioners of what they are teaching. So you cannot impact what you are not in another person. So it's important for us to be it, embrace this growth, practice these lessons so that it will be easy for us to impact it into the children that we are mentoring. So, as usual, we are going to begin with the objective of this lesson. The objective of this first lesson is to help us understand the core principles of self-leadership and personal responsibility, to recognize the benefits of developing these essential life skills, to equip both teachers and pupils with practical strategies to foster self-discipline, motivation, and adaptability, to cultivate a growth mindset and empower individuals to navigate challenges effectively. Now we go into our case study. This case study helps us to have like a practical overview of what the topic is about. Then we will now go in and begin explaining. So I'm going to read the case study from the curriculum, Self-Leadership and Personal Responsibility. This is a case study on lesson 2. And the title is Leo's Lemonade Stand. Please pay attention because these case studies is not just a story. We can actually see us in these case studies, and we can also be able to learn strategies because the case study will tell you the problem and then the challenges, which is a problem, the strategies that they use to solve the problem, and the outcome. So it can be applied in any situation. Now, the challenge. Leo wanted to buy a new skateboard. You can call it anything. He wanted to buy a new computer or a new game, but he didn't have enough money. He asked his parents, but they said that he'd have to earn it himself. So Leo felt a bit frustrated. He thought it was unfair. One hot afternoon, Leo saw people walking by his house looking thirsty. He remembered his grandmother's delicious lemonade recipe. He thought, what if I sold lemonade? In our case, you can say Zobo. What if I sold Zobo? That's what we are familiar with. The way that Zobo drink is very common in Africa. That's the way lemonade is quite common in some places. So Leo didn't wait for someone to tell him what to do. He decided to start his own Zobo stand or lemonade stand. This was his idea. and he was going to make it happen. He took ownership of his goal. Remember, we're talking about self-leadership and personal responsibility. Then the choices and consequences. The first choice, he could have just put out a jug of lemonade and hoped people would buy from it, would buy it. The consequence is that probably not many sales would have occurred. But then the second choice, he decided to plan. He made a sign. He gathered cups and lemons, and he set up a neat stand. The consequence, more people noticed and wanted to buy his lemonade. Now, control and no control, focusing on what you can do. Leo couldn't control the weather. Nobody can control the weather. If it rained, no one would walk by. He couldn't control if anyone liked his lemonade, but he could control how good his lemonade tasted, how friendly he was to customers, how clean and inviting his stand looked. So part of the self-leadership and personal responsibility teaches us things we can control and things we cannot control. It also teaches us consequences, choices and consequences. Now, taking responsibility for mistake. The first day he started his business, he made the lemonade too sour. Instead of blaming the lemons, he tasted it, realized his mistake, and adjusted the recipe. So don't blame the lemons. Don't blame the situation. Take responsibility. So that was exactly what he did. He did not blame the lemons. He did not blame the people for not liking the lemonade. He tasted it and took responsibility and decided to adjust the recipe. He learned that he needed to taste as he went. So he learned something as well. He also realized that he did not have enough change. So people will want to buy something and there's no change. And the next day, he made sure he had plenty of change. So this is learning, taking responsibility, making mistakes, and learning from the mistakes. It's part of personal responsibility. Accountability on the other part. Leo kept track of his earnings. He was honest with his parents about how much money he made. He worked hard every sunny afternoon, even when he was too tired. Now, here is the reward. After a few weeks, Leo had enough money to buy his new video game or skateboard. He felt proud of himself. He learned that by taking responsibility, making good choices, and working hard, he could achieve his goals. So here are the lessons for young people, and this is lesson for adults as well. You have the power to make things happen. Don't wait for other people to solve your problem. When there is a challenge, don't just sit around and wait for one savior somewhere to come. We have the power to take responsibility and get up and do something about it. Your choices matters. Think about the consequences before you act. Focus on what you can control. Do not waste your energy on things you cannot change. It's part of personal responsibility. Mistakes are learning opportunities. Mistakes will always happen, and they are good. As the mistakes come, you analyze the mistake, you learn from it, you make the adjustments, and then you have grown, because that mistake you will not repeat again. And don't be afraid to try again. I think we have failed. Failure is when we stop trying altogether. It's not about falling down or making mistakes or hitting, the rocks. Failure occurs when we altogether refuse to try again. So there is no failure until you give up. Hard work pays off, and taking responsibility and being accountable leads to success. You can make your own opportunities. This reminds this case study. I'm just thinking about my daughter who is currently exhibiting at the school trade fair. I just left the place to come here. I remember when she came and told me that, mommy, I want to sign up for the school trade fair. And she said, I'm teaming up with, like, these are the actual words. And I was so impressed. She said, I'm teaming up with a classmate to get a stand. And I'm going to sell my beads because she makes beads. I'm going to sell my beads, and he is going to sell toast bread. So a stand is 3,000 naira, and we're splitting the stand fare into two so that we can both pay 1,500. So we're working as a team. And I was so impressed. Of course, if your child comes to you with such a proposal, why would you support? But then this is where the lesson comes in, because I said, so how are you preparing for your trade fair? She said she's making beads. She's been making beads for the past 2 weeks. She's been making different beads, bracelets, bangles, rings. And then I started asking her, so how are you going to sell? Have you thought about how you're going to sell? What if they don't bring cash? How are you going to receive payments? What if, what else did I ask her? How are you going to present your goods on the table? Do you have a tablecloth? Like, these are the little things that, I have to talk to her about. And she put everything together. This morning, her dad came and picked her. She's in JS1, by the way. She's 10 years old. Came and picked her to school. So by the time I got to school for the PTA, I located her stand and she was all set up. I was super, super, super impressed. Ready for business. For me, that is self-leadership and personal responsibility in practice. So as we continue, let us encourage our young ones to do things for themselves. That's how they grow their muscle of self-leadership, as we encourage them to do things for themselves. So what is self-leadership? It's taking reins of your own life, taking charge, taking control of your own life. Self-leadership is the practice of intentionally influencing your own thoughts, your own feelings and behaviors to achieve your objectives. It involves taking an active role in shaping your personal and professional growth. It's 2 words together: self-leadership, being able to lead your own self. That is simple. And we should be able to do that at some point. And we should be able to mentor the young people around us to take that leadership of their own lives. So if you're defining self-leadership to young people, it means being your own guide and leader. It's about making smart choices for yourself, even when no one is watching, and taking charge of your actions and feelings. And the truth is, nobody would ever develop the skill of self-leadership if everything was done for that person. Even for our children, they will never develop the skill of self-leadership if we, the parents or the teachers, do everything for them. They wouldn't. For instance, I have the last 2 children in my house, the gifted that is 10 years old and the brother that is 8 years old. I do not do anything for them in the morning when they wake up to go to school. They have to practice self-leadership. They have to get up. The only thing I really do for them most times is to wake them up when the alarm clock fails them. That's all I do for them. They have to go and get ready, get water, take their bath, brush their teeth, dress themselves up, and prepare their own breakfast. Some people will say that, oh, no, that's wrong parenting. But it's helping them to practice. Because if the older one that is 10 years old, if she was in the boarding school, would I be there to give her a bath? Would I be there to dress her up, to wash her uniform for her, to put her things together? This is how they practice. If they're not able to do that now, how would they be able to take charge of their own life, make choices, suitable choices, the right choices and the decisions for their own selves? So we have to start helping them build that muscle at this point. And of course, it will also give you peace of mind if you have young people. It also give you peace of mind because sometimes I hear parents talking about early morning chaos. They're always shouting. Like there's no shouting anywhere. In fact, what we have in my house in the morning is very wonderful worship or praise music. There's no shouting. Everybody is doing what they are supposed to do. And it takes practice. If you're not there yet, it takes practice to do it. I've been doing it for a long time. So let's continue. I'm really sorry about the noise. The noise is really getting in there because they are working in the office. So we have to stay out here. Understanding self-leadership, internal versus external leadership. Internal leadership comes from within you. It's about being motivated by your own goals, values, and sense of purpose. You lead yourself based on what you believe is right and what you want to achieve. External leadership comes from outside sources. This is when you are told what to do by your parents or your teachers or rules. While important, relying only on external leadership means you might not develop your own ability to guide yourself. So what he's saying in essence is, it's important. There's a place for mentorship, guidance of our teacher, our parents, and the older people in our lives. But if we only depend on that kind of leadership, being told what to do, go there, do this, go and do this, go and wash your clothes, go and wash place, go and do this one, go and read, then they will not be able to develop that internal leadership based on the values. So you see how these topics are connected. We're talking about values here, and we talked about values initially as part of the foundation and personal mastery. So if we take our time to teach our children values and to help them cultivate values and define their values, then those values will guide their leadership, their self-leadership. So let me give you another example of what happened. I like sharing practical examples because it makes it easy to, understand. So when we got into this year, was it this year? Before this year, while we were making our vision board, me and the children, I told them, you need to start a business, learn some kind of skill. And they said they wanted to learn how to make beads. So I kind of invested some money, bought beads, the equipment, they did some training, and then they started making those beads. And because it's just the last two in the house, it became their business. They even call it inspirational beads. They have a name for their business. So fast forward to this program, this trade fair. The brother was so supportive in helping her make the beads. The brother is the younger brother, the one that is 8 years old. So supportive in helping her make the beads. And I didn't remember that the business was their business. In my mind, I was like, okay, he's gifted that he's going to do this, but he was always there. Then yesterday, he came back with a note. Day before yesterday, he came back with a note. There is a book fair going on today. A very wonderful children's book fair going on today in Lagos. And the school sent a note telling me that he's been invited to be part of the people that will represent the school. But for some reason, he was not excited. Normally, he likes all these kind of excursions. He was not excited. I said, why are you not excited? This is a very wonderful opportunity. We've been here like 2 years ago. This is opportunity for you to go. He said he does not want to go. I said, why don't you want to go? He couldn't tell me why. But then it was later on that I found out why. Do you know why? Because of this trade fair. And he had already, started assisting the sister in making the beads. So he's thinking about the money they are going to make. He's thinking about the other things that he's going to buy at the trade fair. So why would you tell me to leave this and go for another fair when I've already invested a lot of my time and effort in this? So you see his decision, his internal decision, because at the end of the day, I was like, what do you want? And he told me, I do not want to go for that book fair. I want to stay for the trade fair. So I said, whatever decision you take, that is good. And this morning, before I woke up, they had already gotten ready, packed their things, and off they went to exhibit their products. And so that decision he made was based on his goals and his values. It was not mommy. It was not daddy. It was not the teachers. but he made that decision based on his goals, the things that are important to him. So when we take the time to teach young people about values, to be able to identify their values and have goals, they can be able to make those decisions for themselves. Next, understanding self-leadership, the benefits. One of the benefits, like I talked about now, it helps them to increase their confidence, believing in your ability to make good choices. It improves decision-making, thinking clearly and choosing wisely. So now you're not making decisions based on this, just you need to make decisions. You're making decisions based on informed information that you already have. It helps them with greater independence, being able to manage tasks, challenges, and on their own. And it helps them to enhance problem solving, finding creative solutions to difficulties. It helps with higher achievement, reaching your goals and excelling in your endeavors. And it reduces stress, feeling more in control of your life. That, this one right here, a lot of people may not agree with me, but when you're not in control of your life, you don't know the kind of anxiety that you're going through. That's why a lot of people have a lot of mental health issues, a lot of anxiety, because they have zero control of their lives. They think that their life is just roller coaster, like whatever goes, however they push me. A lot of people are living that way, no control, because they don't have values, they don't have goals, they don't have any focus. But self-leadership gives you that feeling of control and it reduces stress. Those are the benefits, and there are so many more benefits. Now, identifying internal motivators. What truly excites you? These are questions that you have to ask yourself in order to cultivate self-leadership. I've talked about values. I've talked about goals. So what truly excites you? What makes you want to learn or do something? Think about your passions, your interests, and what you care about deeply. Are you motivated by helping others, learning new things, creating something, or achieving a personal best? Understanding your internal motivators helps you to stay focused and driven, even when things get tough. So these are the questions that you need to, what are the things that are important to me? Now, let me say something again, because I also like using practical experiences. When my son wrote his book, Steps to Academic Excellence, he had just finished his grade 3 exam, GSS3 exam. And I just told him, why don't you share some of the things that you learned, as you've been learning from the PDAC Foundation about goal setting for academic excellence? Because we teach these things, it's a subject that we teach in the academy. And he put those things into practice because academic excellence is important to him. He defined academic excellence as an important value for him. So he pays attention to his academics. So when he went back to school, nobody was there to tell him to read his books. He read his books by himself. He made the right grades. And I wanted him to share those things in his book. But fast forward, this is like 4 years later. This is 4 years later. He's still an honor roll student. He had moved to the US to continue his studies. He's still an honor roll student. He's still an honor roll student. I have never for one day called him to say, have you read your book? In the past 3 years, but he's still in the A honor roll category. So he has identified his personal value, like it is within him. He's no longer motivated by what people will say about him, his success. He's motivated by how he feels when he achieves it, which is a great one. So we need to identify the things that excite us, our passions, our interests, because those are the things that motivate us to do those things and lead ourselves to success in those areas. Embracing personal responsibility. personal responsibility and self-leadership, they are kind of related, but they are not the same. Personal responsibility is taking ownership of your choices, actions, and their outcomes. It means understanding that you are in charge of how you react to situations. You are in charge of how you react to situations. Accountability, being answerable to your actions and decisions, is about being willing to explain your choices and accept the consequences, good or bad. So what this is really about, being in charge of your own actions. And within this, we learn the things that we can control and the things that we cannot control. We talked about it. Every choice we make, big or small, has consequences. Good choices will lead to positive outcomes. Example, studying leads to good grades. Poor choices will lead to negative outcomes. Recognizing the link helps us make more thoughtful decisions. Taking a lot of sugars will give you stomach ache. It's more like cause and effect. Cause and effect. This is choices and consequences. Then control versus no control. Being able to know the things that is within our control and the things that is outside our control. That serenity quote that they usually, share in the AAA groups, like, Lord, give me the wisdom to know the things that I can change and things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference, because we need that wisdom. There is no wisdom in trying to change the things that you have no control over. Number one, you have no control over my thoughts and my actions. Well, you have control over your reactions to my thoughts and my actions. But when you want to stay there to control my thoughts and my actions, that's when you lose your own peace, and you invite stress and distress into your life. So we need to be able to teach young people to be able to learn the difference between the things they can control. What can you control? You can control your comfort. You can control your attitude. You can control your choices. You can control your reactions. You can control your self-thought, your self-talk. You can control the way you think and your emotions. Those are the ones within your control. Things you cannot control my actions, other people's actions. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control past events. They have already happened. Just like the saying that say, don't go about crying over spilled milk. The milk has already spilled. Just the only thing you can control is your reaction towards the spilled milk, whether you keep your peace or just scatter everything. You know what happens when you put milk on the table for your children and then they are tripping and then the thing falls. So you cannot control it has already spilled. What can you control? You can control the way you react to the situation. You cannot control unexpected challenges, but you can control the way you react. These are the things that will help us to be able to lead ourselves better. Focusing on what you can control empowers you and it reduces frustration. If you take inventory of the things that you're frustrated about, even right now, you realize that 85% or 90% of it are the things that you cannot control. Or the things that you can control and you're waiting for other people to come and do it for you. So self-leadership helps us to differentiate between both and take actions. Embracing personal responsibility, focus on control and learning from mistakes. So we have the internal and the external versus the external. The internal locus of control, believing that you are responsible for what happens to you, that your effort leads to your results. And the external locus of control is believing that outside forces, law, fate, others, village people, are responsible for what happens to you. These just happen to you, to me. Like there are people that actually believe that when it's their turn, luck will now happen. Everything will close. Somebody somewhere is the one causing their failure. Developing an internal locus of control empowers you to take action. When you know that you are responsible for what happens to you. In fact, I'm saying this, a lot of adults do not even know that they are responsible for their own lives, their own outcomes, whatever it is that you're experiencing now, whether you like it or you don't like it, you are responsible for it. And if you don't like it, you are responsible for taking the steps that will lead you out of that place. You can go about and blame every other person, the economy, the country, the president, your spouse. But at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to take charge of your own life, chart your course, follow it to lead yourself out of that place that you are. Personal responsibility is one thing that we need to teach our young people. Because now that we're getting up, we go online, you complain, Nigeria is happening to you. Don't even use such phrases. Teach them that they can create their own economy. They can create their own personal economy. Sometimes I really wonder how people that do 9-to-5 jobs, and that is the only thing they do, as in they're depending on their salary to come by the end of it. Sometimes I wonder how they cope in this economy. How do they even pay rent and school fees? With the price of things escalating. This is not the time to blame your boss or the economy. This is a time to look inward. God has put giftings and talents within us. And the Bible says that the gift of man will make room for him and bring him before kings. Your gifts will bring resources to you. Someone said, if you are gifted, if you have talents, like if you hone your skill and your talent, and you're inside a bush, people are going to chart their way to come inside there and meet you for that thing that you're solving, that problem that you're solving. This is the time to begin to teach our children about these things, taking control of their lives. I was in a meeting and the man was saying, our children are growing and, there are no jobs. What do we do when they finish school and then there are no jobs? I'm like, are people still talking about their children going to school to come out to look for a job? Shouldn't we be talking about the problems, identifying problems in the community, in our environment, and looking for entrepreneurial ways to solve those problems? Learning the skills that will meet those problems. There is money. I'm telling you, there's money. I'm telling you, there is money. And how I'm going to tell you that is, I do, one of the things that I do is that I coach people. I'm a life legacy coach. I help people to be able to put their, life stories, impact stories together. There is nobody that have come to me and then I give the person my coaching fee that have told me, oh, no, it's too much. Yes, they'll say it's too much, but they'll still go and find that money and pay because that work is important to them. I'm providing a value. I'm solving people's problems. Let us begin to teach our children, our young people. Yes, it's good to work for the exposure, to learn skills, workplace skills and all of those things. But let's not die there. Let us use the things that are inside of us. Let us identify problems and begin creating solutions to solve that problem. I personally believe that everybody, even on this call, has a story, an inspiring and impactful story to tell their world that will make a difference. I strongly believe everybody on this call, you're supposed to be an author. Yes, you are not where you want to be yet, but the little experience that you've had, the things that you've been through, how you overcame those challenges to become who you are today is enough story to tell the people that are coming up. Even if you don't want to tell it to the whole world, it's enough story to document for your children. That is your legacy. So me, I'm also advertising my business. So come and let me help you write your book. So let us begin to teach those things to our young people. there are essential skills like self-discipline and time management that we also need, that goes along these things that we're talking about. The truth is that the foundation for every kind of growth or progress or reaching your goals, self-discipline must be there, because if you don't have self-discipline, you can't achieve your goal. You can't sit to learn the skill. You cannot sit in the class to learn whatever it is. You will always be distracted by other things. So managing distractions, these are things that we need to, some of the skills that we need to learn to help us in our self-leadership. Strategies for focus. Can we use silent mode? Do you know, sometimes I don't even know why some people still have notification for things like WhatsApp and email on. Like, you just be there, ping, ping, every second, ping, ping. Like, sometimes I go out, people's phone will be going off, and it's WhatsApp notification, Gmail notification with all the junk, messaging notification with all the junk. That is so distracting. And once that noise goes up, there is a tendency for you to want to go and look, Is that how you're going to? That's the time that it takes you to keep checking and checking is a distraction. So can we learn to put our phones on silent mode? Especially when we are working. Dedicate a study space. If you're a student or a coach or mentor, dedicate a study space where you know that this place is for studying. And once I get in here, I am going to be studying. Then there's this Pomodoro technique. This is where you get to read for about 20 minutes and then you take a 5 minutes break. You come back to the book, 20 minutes, take a 5 minutes break. Just 25, 25, 5, however it works for you. But put those things in place so that it won't be like, okay, I'm reading for 20 minutes. From 5 minutes break, the thing has entered 2 hours because you're scrolling on social media or playing a game. So when we put those things in place, it helps us to build self-discipline and time management skills. In terms of building habits and routine, establish structure for consistency. Example, daily checklist, morning routines. I had this journal that I bought last year and I really love that journal. In that journal, they have a habit tracker by the side. In that habit tracker, they put a few habits. Have you read today? Have you done this today? Have you exercised? Have you drunk water? So I added some other things that I do daily. Have you listened to a message or listened to a podcast? I put all of those things. These are things that you can do for 10 minutes, but it will make your whole day wholesome because you're doing it consistently and you're growing consistently. So we should be able to build those habits. And most of the things that I scheduled in that routine or habit tracker, I still do those things every day. Have you written in your journal today? Have you journaled? Have you read your Bible? These are how the things that we can put in place to build habits and routines. And those habits and routines are the things that will define our lives. Another method is delayed gratification, understanding long-term rewards. Example, studying now for better future opportunities. Delay the gratification. There are things that you want to do now, but you can just delay it and then finish your school, finish your studies or your exam, and then you can. For instance, for me, movie is one thing that I do to, relax and all of those things if I'm not praying. So I reward myself when I achieve a goal. So I will set a goal for myself. These are things that you need to do. And I'm not going to watch anything until I finish. So if I feel that this one, I really want to watch it, what it's telling me is go and finish this, your goal. And then you reward yourself with the movie. So it also helps me to delay the gratification to do the things that should be done. So engage time management tools with calendar, planners, apps, or whatever works for you. As your activities or schedule begin to increase, maybe for me, initially, I never had any need for calendar because I didn't have so much things I'm doing. But now that my program is kind of a lot of activities and I have to use a calendar, I don't even use the calendar alone. I use the calendar and I use my alarm clock system. So you can, it comes to my calendar, I've scheduled so many meetings And then I go to my alarm, I schedule all the alarms so that I will not miss them, because there'll be a tendency to miss those things if you don't have them scheduled. So it's important. It helps you with your time management as well. Combating procrastination, breaking tasks into smaller steps, setting deadlines, and rewarding progress. I've talked about it. So let us just, go faster. So there are essential skills that you need to help you to build self-motivation, resilience. These are the inner drive, the things that you need for personal leadership and responsibility. Identify your internal motivator. Identifying intrinsic motivation. What are the things that motivate you from inside? We talked about it. The things that are you're interested in, your values, your interests. So cultivate that, identify it, develop a positive mindset, be optimistic, build resilience, ability to bounce back from setback, positive self-talk, affirmations, encouraging affirmations of things that you know that you are, what you can do, what you have, who you are. Write those things in the positive, in the affirmative way, and say to yourself, this is you programming yourself. This is actually neuro-linguistics programming. Neuro, it has to be the mind. Linguistics has to be with language programming. You can program your mind to achieve success by the things you say to yourself consistently. Consistency is the key. You can program your mind to do anything, to achieve anything. If you can consistently speak it, envision it, you will be able to achieve it. That's why the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain on paper. That is also another way of programming your mind. Because when you write the vision and you make it plain so that all can see it and run, it's before you. There are words on paper. It will only take a while, but it will come to pass. If you do not lose hope, it will come to pass. Adapting to new situations, embracing change. Finally, managing change effectively. Example, new school. These skills will help you to manage all of those skills, all of those changes. Finally, let's get to the last. Self-advocacy and empowerment. Your voice, your power, self-advocacy and empowerment. These are the things, questions that you need to ask yourselves, boundaries that you need to set, and intentions that you need to make based on your self-leadership and personal responsibility. So asking yourself what you need, communicating effectively, clearly articulating your questions, concerns, or requests. This involves polite, clear communications that is not demanding. Setting healthy boundaries, protecting your time, your energy, your well-being, knowing when to say no, and respecting your limits. Don't just say yes, 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 yes to everything. Knowing how to say no is also a skill that we need to learn, because when we fill up our space with all of these things, all these promises that we've kept, we've told people that we're going to do for them, it will be draining us. We won't be able to be productive. And it will affect the goals and the things that we set for ourselves. Taking control of your learning and personal growth journey, feeling confident in your ability to make a difference. We can never overemphasize the importance of continuous learning and continuous growth. Once you stop learning, you will start dying. Once you stop growing, you will start dying. You can't say, oh, I read all these 1 million books last year. If you're not reading now, if you're not learning, if you have not put system in place for your personal growth, you see yourself, the knowledge that you have will start going extinct. You're no longer relevant. You're even rusty. You're no longer fresh. So you have to keep learning. You have to keep growing. And these are the things that lead to our ability to lead ourselves well. the knowledge we have, and the wisdom to apply that knowledge. And we have come to the end of this presentation. Any questions? Any questions? Yes, there should be. This is, we have a few minutes. Let's take 5 to 10 minutes to interact. Remember the learning retention that we talked about. What stood out for you? Please, can you unmute and share? What stood out for you? You can unmute and share.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm not afraid of time.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, so the lesson, all in all, what we learned just now, it's a reminder. You know, I like the fact that you reminded us that we are responsible for our lives right now. So there is no point in blaming the government or the economy or our bosses or our spouses or anything. You know, we're all responsible for our lives now. You know, what can you do? You don't like the situation you find yourself in. Okay, so what are you doing about it? Are you furthering your education? Okay, for example, um, I believe I've been in my place of work, I've been there for too long and I'm seeking other better opportunities. But most of the opportunities I've been seeing, they've been saying, oh, you need this professional, if you have this professional certification, CIPM is an added advantage. So what did I do? I started looking for ways to get the CIPM certification. I wanted to go through the examination route, but they told me to start all the way from foundation again. And it didn't sit well with me. So I looked for other ways to join. I started to go, oh, let me go through the practitioner's route now. So that one, all I have to do is to just submit evidence that I've been practicing for 5 to 7 years. And there are other supporting documents, submit them, they will go through it and it will go through an approval process. So, you know, that's one way of taking responsibility. And then you also said something. Okay, yesterday I joined the Hallelujah Challenge and Apostle Joshua Selman said something, you know, very important. He said, everybody has knowledge. You acquire knowledge. When you read something, we all have knowledge, but wisdom is the ability to extract from that knowledge and turn it to something that will profit you, to something profitable. And you also said that, you know, when you have wisdom is how to apply that knowledge to profit you. And it really got me thinking, we have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of talent, but what are we doing with it? How are we extracting or converting that knowledge to be profitable to us? So that has really got me thinking. And I think it's time to go back to the drawing board. Of course, we ask God for wisdom because He's the only one that can show you how to do it effectively instead of wasting time and running around in circles. So you also invite God, work with Him, ask, okay, all this knowledge that I've acquired over the years, all these things that I'm doing, and the talents that I have, how am I going to utilize them? How am I going to extract this knowledge and convert it to be profitable to me and, of course, to the people around me? Because when God gives you wisdom, it's not just for you, it's also for the people around you to impact lives positively for Him. So it's a very good one, a good lesson for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. We have some questions. I think it's the same question, really. Program your mind for success. Okay. What is the best way to create a sustainable system of personal goals for children? That's one. The second question is, can you explain more how we can help our children develop this skill? So, for me, the sustainable system is some of the things that we've set in place. That's why PDAC Foundation is in existence. That's why we are here. Because it's sustainable. We have provided the resources, the programs, the classes. If you have young people, all you need to do is to bring them to our academy on Sundays. You don't even have to pay a dime, and get them to read at least a book a week. This one, you can even read the books together with them. Even for me as a coach and a parent and someone that is also in, running this, I have to provide a sustainable system for my own children, because if I don't, it will not happen. So what I do, apart from the classes that we have, the programs that we have, I have a lesson teacher, and her job alone is to review these books with the children every 2 to 3, days in a week. 3 to 4 days in a week. She comes and they read the devotional together. They read the books together. They review together. And all of that. This is me being intentional about creating it. Before, I had the teacher, I would read a book with them every day. These books are small. But, sometimes, I to get lazy. I need someone to read to me too. So I'll be like, please. So I'll read together with them, whether in the morning or in the night. I will have a little discussion. It's little, less than 5 to 10 minutes. But the consistency of it, you're raising really, because it's inner programming that you're doing. You will not see it on the outside at first. But trust me, if you do the work of programming their mind with these things, you begin to see it on the outside manifesting with time, because you don't plant a seed today and start reaping the harvest tomorrow. As you keep watering it, it will grow and begin to produce fruit. Everybody will see, it will be evident to all. So you start by putting if you want them to, if it's okay, this area that you want them to grow, go and get books in that area, or go on YouTube and get videos around the topic, and schedule the time. We're going to be doing this every day for 10 minutes. The truth is that we all have 10 minutes extra to read with our children. The reason why we don't is because we are lazy, and because we have not seen the importance of doing it. So I don't know if I've answered your question. The second one is, can you explain more how we can help our children develop this skill? I talked about it in the lesson. I don't know, maybe you came in later. Well, it begins with teaching them about values. Teaching them about values, Values are the things that are important to them. Things that are very vital, helping them, identify different values, and let them be able to identify the values that are important to them. Because these are the things that will help them to have that self-leadership. They will now be able to lead themselves based on, because the goal, we are going to start with the external motivator. That's us parents, go and do this, go and do this, go and do. But the goal is for them to be internally motivated, for them to be able to lead themselves on the outside. If you're doing a great job leading your children, leading your family, family devotion, let's wash the plates together, it's wonderful. That's a good start. But the goal is for them to be motivated inside of them to go and do it by themselves without the external motivator. And these skills, they don't fall on the children. If you don't teach it, they will not have it. That's the truth. It does not fall on them. If you don't teach it, they will not have it. Example, if you and your children, maybe you drank wine or whatever, or juice, you shared it, and then you keep the cups. Do you know a normal child that is not trained will get up and leave the cup and go away? That's a normal child that is not trained. Then the one that is trained small will get up and carry their own cup and go away. But the one that you're intentionally teaching about self-leadership will take their own cup and take the cups of every other person on that table and go without being told. You should try it. Even me, I'm still teaching it in my house. because we can finish eating on the table now. They'll carry their own plate. They'll leave my own plate there. I'll call them, come and carry mommy's plates. You have to keep teaching these things. It will not fall on them until they start doing it on their own. That is when they are now taking personal responsibility. If you have multiple children in the house, more than one child, you can testify to the fact that if they are playing or eating, and maybe David and Daniel ate on the table, and David made a mess on their own table, Daniel is not going to clean that mess for David on their own. They will not do it. They will tell him to come, and they will carry their own plate. They will tell him, go and carry your plates. That's not my plate too. That's Daniel's plate. That's not my mess. Or they will put clothes on the floor. Gifted will just come and collect her own clothes and leave that. That's not my own. So personal responsibility. Then I'll tell them, you are responsible. Go pick it up. Responsibility is doing the right thing when you're not told. My children know the definition of responsibility because I give them that definition every time. So we need to be intentional. So now, let me tell you an example to let you know that it's working. One day, Gifted was sweeping. That's a 10-year-old was sweeping. And she finished sweeping. And then I saw her, she went back and swept that place again. She now came and said, Mommy, do you know, there's something that used to happen to me. When I sweep and I don't sweep something very well and I leave it, something will just be biting me inside. Go back and do it. Go. I said, it's a personal responsibility, it's working. So that even if I decide I'm not going to do it, I will not rest until I go back and go and clean. I said, it's working. It's the personal responsibility working. So let's go on to the next class. Sorry, I am going off with all my stories. So we are going to go into goal setting. This is one of my favorite topics, goal setting and vision board. It's one of my most favorite topics ever. Now, the objective of this lesson, unlocking potential, mastering goal setting and vision boards. To understand the fundamental principles and benefits of effective goal setting, to learn practical strategies for setting and achieving personal and academic or professional goals, to explore the power of visualization and create inspiring vision boards, to develop actionable plans for integrating goal setting and vision into your daily life. So we'll read a case study from this curriculum. I'm reading from part 2. This is the story of Wealth Coding Challenge. The reason why I'm particularly drawn to this story is because just today I said, one of the things I can do for my children, and you should, explore that option. One of the things I can do for my children is to teach them how to code, to help them to learn how to code, to empower them to learn how to code. Because when you're able to code, because this digital age that we are in, when we are talking about solving problems now, we should be thinking digital. When you know how to code, you can actually create anything. You can code anything. You can code an app. When you discover like a problem that needs to be, solved, if you know how to code, you can actually code something for that problem. Like, it's an amazing skill. Today, I made up my mind. I am going to empower my children and help them to learn how to code, because in the future, if they need to solve a problem, they should not feel helpless in solving that problem. They should have the tool to be able to solve the problem as well. So this is about Wealth Coding Challenge. Well, a 16-year-old was fascinated by computers and wanted to learn how to code. His big long-term goal was to create his own video game, but he felt overwhelmed and didn't know where to begin. He had a lot of distractions and often found it hard to stay focused. Wealth challenges. He had overwhelming goals. Creating a video game seemed too big and impossible. Time management. He often spent too much time on social media and playing games, leaving little time for coding. Procrastination. He kept putting off learning to code, telling himself he would start tomorrow. Lack of structure. He didn't have a clear plan or way to track his progress. How wealth used goal setting methodologies to help himself. First of all, he set SMART goals for himself. Wealth broke his big goals into smaller SMART goals. Number one, specific. He said to himself, learn the basics of Python programming. That's number one, specific, S. Learn the basics of Python programming. Number two, measurable. Complete one online Python tutorial module per week. Number three, achievable. Dedicate 30 minutes to coding practice every day after school. Number four, relevant. Learning Python is the first step towards creating my video game. And finally, time-bound. Complete the beginner Python course within 3 months. So now there is a goal and there is a structure. This is how we tackle the things that we need to do in our own lives, even as adults. There are things that you want to do. Can you pass them through the SMART goal strategy? Can you pass them through the SMART goal strategy? Even if you feel that, okay, this is a faith project. Just a few days ago while I was studying, I said, I'm going to write something on smart faith. What is it that you want to do that you call a faith project? Can you pass those things through the SMART faith strategy? The S of that SMART faith is specific. When you're coming to God, you have to be specific. What is it that you want? What is it? You cannot say, oh, God bless me. Oh, God bless me. Oh, I want a car. I want a house. That's vague. So even in kingdom principles, biblical principles, see, these principles that they are talking about here, they learned it from the Bible. But we that are Christians, we're not practicing it. You have to be specific. That's why the Bible says, don't be anxious about anything, but in prayer, supplication, make your requests, your specific requests known to God, and He will give you the peace that passes understanding. Measurable. This thing that you're looking for that you call a faith project, is it in line with the word of God? Is it measurable? Where is it on the word? Is it God's will for us? Is it in His plan? Or this is just because everybody wants to be, you want to be a billionaire. Where is the promise for you? Measure it based on the word of God. Is it measurable? Where is it? Is it achievable? Are there people that have done it before? Are there stories of people that have used their faith on it? Is it relevant? How is it going to improve your life and the life of people around you? Is it time bound? Faith is now. So when you're receiving things from God and you're passing it through the SMART faith, you receive it now, you take it now, and then the wisdom comes for it and you begin to implement it. Do you know that when you pray, the answer to your prayer is not the manifestation of that thing that you prayed for? The answer to your prayer when you pray, the answer to your prayer when you pray is the wisdom you receive for that thing. When you now put that wisdom into practice, the manifestation comes. Because a lot of people pray and they are waiting for manifestation, but God has released the wisdom, but they will not take the wisdom and apply the wisdom. So faith is now. I don't know who needed to hear that. Let's continue. Now, the short, mid, and long term. So the short term goal that Wealth had is watch one coding tutorial each day. The midterm goal was build a simple text-based game in 2 months. And the long term, create a playable demo of my own video game within a year. But when you go back to the SMART goal that he set for himself, he already put a structure for him to be able to achieve both the short term, the midterm, and the long-term goal. Now, Wealth realized that coding practice was important, but not always urgent. He scheduled it into his daily routine, treating it like an important appointment. He also identified not urgent and not important activities like endless scrolling on social media, and he reduced them. Wealth used a spreadsheet to track his progress. He marks down each tutorial module he completed, and each day he practiced coding. He set reminders on his phones to practice coding. He celebrated small wins like completing a module or solving a coding problem. The outcome, he overcoming obstacles before the outcome. When he felt like procrastinating, he reminded himself of his long-term goal and the excitement of creating his own game. He joined an online coding forum to ask questions and to get support, accountability. He broke down complicated coding tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. And when he had errors in his code, he used them as learning experiences. He didn't just throw everything away. This thing is difficult. And the result, Wealth consistently practiced coding for 30 minutes every day. He completed the beginner Python course within 3 months. He built a simple text-based game, which boosted his confidence. He started working on his own game demo, making steady progress. He learned valuable time management and problem solving. Sorry, we are fixing a key. So sorry about the noise. We are fixing ACs in our center. So they are done with it. So that's why I came back here. So the noise is out there. I hope it's not disturbing us too much. So it's progress noise. It's progress distraction. It's good distraction. Good noise. Good noise. So in summary, what happened? What are the things to learn? Big dreams are achievable when broken down into smaller, manageable goals. There's no dream that you have like this now that you cannot achieve. The only reason why it seems like we cannot achieve it is we have not broken it down into different smaller, steps. Big dreams are achievable when broken down into smaller, manageable goals. SMART goals provide a clear roadmap to success, and prioritizing tasks help you focus on what's truly important. Tracking your progress keeps you motivated and accountable, and overcoming obstacles builds resilience and determination. So that is the story of Wealth Coding Challenge. And I'm actually going to use this story, like practically use this story to help my own children to learn how to code, because now I see how important it is. We are living in the technology age. And I believe that most of the solutions, most of the problems that we're going to be solving will be tech related, you know. So why can't we empower our children and move them away from, while we are still learning the normal skills, and just empower them with digital skills is very, very important. So if you feel like that is for you, then take it and run with it. But I feel that it is for me. So we are going to be doing that. So let's get right into it. Fundamentals of goal setting. The truth is that we have covered everything in the case study. This is just for us to, pull out some of them. A goal is something that you want to achieve. For you to be in this class today, there is a goal. There's a reason why you came here. If there was no goal, you will not be here. So you have to have something that you're pursuing before you can be able, so that you also know when you get there, you also know that you got to there. Because if there is no goal, you'll just be wondering. And a lot of people are wondering. They wake up in the morning, there is no goal, no life goal, nothing they are pursuing. That's why they feel like the day is too long, or the day is draggy, or everything is boring, because there's nothing that they are constantly or focused on, on achieving. Why goals matter? Goals provide direction. It increases motivation. It boosts confidence. It fosters personal growth. It improves performance. The psychology of achievement, how our beliefs and focus influences our outcome. Now, let's take a quick poll. What one goal have you achieved that made you proud? What one goal was it that you achieved? If you don't mind, can you share it? What is that one goal that you set that goal, you achieved it, and it made you really proud? You can just put it on the comments. Let's have a discussion on that. What one goal did you achieve and you looked back and it made you proud? He said it's not disturbing. Me, there are plenty. I remember when I was writing this book. Jesus, this book, this book worried my head. Sometimes my brain would just nothing else to write. Like there's nothing else to write again. I will just abandon the book. When you wrote your first book. But because I set the goal and I put it through the SMART, goal system, I gave it a timeline, and the time was approaching, and I needed to finish it before that time. Because that's the good thing about putting time in, within your goal. It gives you that sense of urgency. I will drag myself. Thank God for coaching. If you're here and you don't have a coach, you don't have someone that you talk to, coaching has a way of unlocking knowledge paths or ideas, because you're interacting with someone, they're asking you questions, you're thinking. Like I'll go for my coaching sessions with my coach, and by the time I'm within the session, new ideas are coming. He said, I'm your coach. New ideas are coming. Like, I'm like, ooh, I can be in a coaching session and a new series will just come up, because the book is categorized in different series. A new series will just come up, and in one series, I have like 5 or 10 topics or 15 topics. Like, oh my goodness. When I finish this book, this is a big achievement for me. And whenever I look at it, or I'm reading it, or I'm doing my 365 days, I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of this work. Not just because I did it, but because of the impact it's making in the lives of people. I am super proud of it. And the truth is that when I set out to write this book, there was no money to even do it. There was no money. There was no money to print it. I just put it there. When I finish, I'm going to print 1,000. I called my printer. I said, how much is it going to cost to print 1,000 copies of a book that is 400 pages? And he gave me a price and I wrote it down. I did not have it, but I set the goal. So there is something that happens to you when you set a goal. Like, it's like God, the world, the universe begin to work in your favor to help you to be able to achieve it. So what's one goal? What's one goal have you set for yourself that you achieved and it made you so proud? I only have one comment here, except that people don't have goals. People to marry, did you say go to marry and you married? That's a big goal. Did you say go to have a baby boy and you had it? That's a big goal. Because sometimes we think that goals should be very big, big things like this. Can be anything, but something that you set your mind to and you got it. Please, let's share, because this is going to be like a motivating factor for us as well as we continue on this study. Yay, Coach Christine, writing your first book. Ah, wow, 5 books at once. Amazing. 5 books at once. That should make somebody very proud. Amazing. A goal that you set for yourself and you achieved it. Even writing this curriculum was a big goal I set for myself. Passing through the SMART goal. In fact, let me tell you my secret. The reason why it looks as if I achieved a lot of things is because I follow through the SMART goal system. Especially that T. Put a timeline and don't go and cheat yourself and put 6 months. There is nothing you can put pressure on yourself to achieve anything, and you will. Giving a proper line, timeline. I gave myself a goal to write these curriculums. These were my major goals for this year. And when I did the first 6 books, I was so proud of myself. I said, yes, I'm done. I'm not doing anything again. But then something in my heart told me, you're not done with this curriculum thing. You're not done. And I had no reason why I should be doing the curriculum. Like there was no reason. But one thing, a commitment I made to myself and to God is that when I have an idea, the least I can do is to put it into practice. That's the least. Let it be that I failed, but I will execute it. Do you know that there was no idea for this accelerator program, personal development accelerator program? It was not in my goal this year. It was not in the plan. It did not even cross my thinking. But immediately I finished this curriculums, all 16 of it. I was like, okay, now I'm done. What am I going to do next? That's when this level of idea now unlocked. Create a course for it so that you can actually teach mentors and coaches and they can use the resources to teach. So there are many things that we might even be missing by not completing the task that we have at hand because we feel that it's not relevant or who is going to use this, who is this for? Just follow the leading of God if you feel that God's giving you that leading. I always share the story of how I wrote the first book series and the second book series. Nobody was buying it. Even when I offered it free, nobody was downloading. But I was just, I just kept writing as the ideas came. And I gave myself a why. If it's only my children that read these books, then I have succeeded. And guess what? COVID hit. Who planned for COVID? Who planned for COVID? Nobody planned for COVID. Then COVID hit. They started all the online things and parents were getting tired. And that was how the idea, why don't you do an online bootcamp? And guess what? I already had like 14 books to use it to run for a 4-month bootcamp. And that's how the personal development summer bootcamp, unlocked. So what are those things that you have been keeping on your table and you've been procrastinating and you're now trying to convince yourself, after all, what am I going to do with it? You convince yourself out of that goal. It's time to get back. It's time to get back to it. So let me see, having my son in his present school. Oh, amazing. I remember Coach Mary, when you talked about the school. I'm so happy for you that your son is in the school and you made that goal happen. Amazing. Are there other people that want to share? Everybody has done something remarkable, that they should be proud of. Amazing. So, fundamentals of the foundations of goal setting and vision board. Defining your vision. Beyond goals, you have to craft your personal vision, because goals are really the stepping stones to achieving something big or something, a given task. There should be a vision. There should be like an endpoint. And then the goals helps you to, set up the plan, the stepping stones to get there. And your visions are based on your values, what truly matters to you. They are based on your life purpose. What impact do you want to make with your life, your why? They are based on aligning goals with vision, ensuring that your goals are not just random aspirations, but steps towards your larger desired future. So what we're saying in essence is, when we're talking about goal setting is not just, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this. There should be a bigger picture. What are those values? They should also be grounded on your values and your life calling and purpose. So there should be like a bigger picture and then the goals. So the things that I've been doing, the things that I do, the Inspired and Transformed Devotional, the curriculum I talked about, the Transformation Center, all the books I've written, the things that we're doing is based on the fact that I believe that I have this vision to inspire and impact young people, to change the narrative of young people so that our future can be different. So that's based on that vision and the value that I have for growth, for consistency, for excellence, is now playing out in every single thing and all the decisions that I'm making, leading towards that place. So there should be something bigger than the project itself that you're pursuing, because the project itself is supposed to be leading you towards that big goal and the big picture. And all of these things are supposed to be grounded based on your values, your purpose, and your calling, and your giftings as well. So, can we brainstorm on our 3 core values and how they influence your daily decisions? Let's have another conversation on this. We will not assume that we know our values because we are coaches and we're here learning. Yes. Oh yeah, Jenny, well done. Having an outstanding CGPA despite doing school as a young mom with babies as well as doing my business. That's a very, very amazing. Your testimony is amazing. So let's brainstorm. Can we share in the comment section your 3 core values? I can share mine off my head. Number 1, excellence is there. Personal growth is there. Love and respect is there. Accountability, beauty. Oh, some people don't think that beauty can be a core value. Beauty is a value for me. It's a value for me. That's why everything I do, there's beauty around it. Please, let's share. Just share your 3 core values. And those 3 core values influence your daily decisions, or they have influenced the things that you've been able to achieve, these goals that you are talking about that you've achieved. What are those 3 core values? Oh, yes, peace, excellence, and personal growth. Yes. Amazing. More, I think we are many in this group, we are 12. So at least 12 responses. I've shared my own, so we have 2 responses now. If this is the only thing we're able to do, to define these things, to remind ourselves of these things, then we have achieved something today. respect, personal growth, and family. Thank you, Jenny Momo, for sharing. Thank you, Coach Christine, for sharing more. So if you're finding it difficult to share your 3 top values, or you have to think about it, then you need to go back to the drawing board. Excellence, integrity, personal growth. Amazing. If you're finding it difficult, you're thinking about it too much, because these are supposed to be clearly written down somewhere, like a big poster in your house. You paste it there, your values. Mutual respect, personal development, and excellence. Excellence, continuous growth, integrity, peace, personal growth, accountability. See, you see the wonderful thing about the communities. See, our values are all related. That's why we can actually be here together, because our values align. Accountability, respect, personal development. See, there are people that cannot cope in this environment because the values be conflicting. But the reason why you are at peace here and you love it here and you keep coming back is because values align. And that's how we should be in choosing a life partner. Values should align, because value alignment brings peace. Values alignment bring peace. You know, they say opposites attract, but the opposite that they're talking about is in temperament, not in values. If you have opposing values, you will have conflict inside your relationship and marriage. But if you have opposing temperaments, one person is outgoing, the other person is calm, yeah, you can manage yourselves. But values must align for there to be peace, harmony, and progress. That's why we work so well together. So thank you all for sharing. Let's go into the next slide. Fundamentals of goal setting and vision, the power of visualization. Seeing is believing, the science of visualization. Do you know that there are some things that I've seen just in my quiet time, my thinking time, and to me, it's not possible. How can this happen? But I'm really beginning to see these things manifest, because I dared to even hold the image in my mind for a while and even go ahead to print it. Of course, you know the story of the Transformation Center. Immediately the idea came to my mind, I went and printed something. I called the Transformation Center and I framed it, kept it on my prayer table. I have no idea how this was going to happen. No idea. But every day when I think of it, thank you, Father, for the Transformation Center. Thank you. You know, we're going to be launching a mobile app next month. By the time they gave me the bill, in fact, one person gave me 7 million. One person said 9 million. Another person said 7. That person said 5 million to do app. It's not small something. And I remember, if I show you my vision, one of my vision books, I put a picture, I created a small picture. Transformation, personal PDAC foundation app, something. I snapped the picture and I put it in my vision board. I am happy to announce that we have paid for the app and it's going to be launched next month. When that vision came, I had no money. I had no idea where the money was going to come from. Zero. But I dared to hold that image. I didn't just hold the image and discard it. I went ahead and printed it and stuck it on my board. That's the power of visualization. Once you begin to envision things and you see yourself having it, everything, they say the universe is working to get to you everything that you want. That's why we are the creators of our own life experiences. We are the creators of our future. It's not chance. You can decide the course of your life. Hold it in your mind. Affirm it every day. When ideas begin to come, start implementing. And before you know it, you find yourself holding that thing. It will just be like a dream. So the power of visualization, brain science, how visualizing success activates similar neural pathways as actually performing the action, preparing your brain for achievement. The reticular activating system. So leave this big drama. What he's saying is, when you begin to see something, like you tap into something, for instance, once you decide now that you want to buy, you would like to own a red Mercedes Benz. In fact, let's just look for a weird color. You want a sky blue Mercedes Benz. Maybe it sounds weird to you, like that color, sky blue Mercedes Benz of a particular model. Once you've zeroed in your mind, that's what I want. And you have seen like a picture of it somewhere online. That's what. Do you know that if you go out now to go and buy something, you'll be seeing that car everywhere? Because now that I said it, it might look as if the car is scarce. That car is not scarce. The reason why you're not seeing it is because your RAS, the reticular activating system, is not activated for that model, that color in your brain. Once you activate it, it's open, you start seeing it everywhere. That is what happens to us when we visualize. When we dare to touch things, we activate that part. And the opportunities for those things to come into our lives will begin to manifest. It's a spiritual law. It's a spiritual law. That's why the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain on the tablet. It may tarry, but wait for it. So manifestation, the idea that focusing on your desires can help bring them into reality, combined with action. Because once you begin to see those things, like I said, the manifestation is really not the answer to your prayer. The answer to your prayer is the instructions that you got. When you apply those instructions, you have manifestation. You don't go from prayer to manifestation. You go from prayer to answer, to action, and then manifestation. From prayer to answer, that's the wisdom. Wisdom of God will be released for that thing. And that's the answer you need. Then you act based on the wisdom that you've released, that you've received. Then you get the manifestation. Praise God. Now we are in church. So let's do a quick practice. Close your eyes for 30 seconds and visualize successfully achieving a small, immediate goal. Just close your eyes. You know, for me, if you look around this office now, look around this office, see, we have removed everything that we put on the wall. They just painted it again today. So the walls are blank. That's what you are seeing. But do you know what I'm seeing? There are images that I'm already seeing on this wall. And I'm seeing tables round about this place. And I'm seeing 12 computers round about this place. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. You know, because that's the answer that I got when I was praying about this computer lab. Now I'm applying that answer. They have come to paint the wall. I'm now taking action based on that answer. The printer is coming to take measurements. I've already designed the poster that will go around this place. The carpenter have come to take measurements of the tables and the chairs. In less than 2 weeks, what I just explained to you will be what is here. That is when you call it manifestation, but I've already received my answer. So if I don't take actions based on the answer I got, I'll never get manifestation. So let's take a few minutes, just close your eyes, 30 seconds, visualize successfully achieving a small immediate goal that you have at hand right now. Okay, you can come back, open your eyes, and welcome back. So, this is a practice that you should do all the time. When you have a goal, visualize the goal, take it an extra step. And there are some people, their imagination is not as developed. That's why we have a vision board. And we're going to touch on that because the vision board will help you to keep the picture before you. There are things that I'm already imagining now. Like I have no idea. In fact, I'm going to say it out so that when it happens, you will remember that I said it. I'm already imagining a computer lab with at least 500 computers. And I've seen how the computers are going to be set up in rows. I'm seeing it so clearly in my mind, in my mind's eye, even with my eyes open, I can see it. I have not been able to see that, but there was something that activated it for me recently. Now I can see it so clearly. And I know it's just a matter of time. A matter of time. So, practical goal setting strategies. We have talked about it, the SMART goals. Your goal has to be very specific. It has to be measurable. It has to be achievable. It has to be relevant. It has to be time bound. Most times we have check on the other ones, but when it comes to the timing, we just leave it to be open-ended. Now, every goal or any goal that is not time bound is a wish. Is a wish. What makes it a goal is when you put a time, you just cap it. Then you work towards that time. Then that's when it becomes a goal. If there is no time bound, so that goal that you have in your mind now, or you want to, that thing you want to do, by when is it going to be achieved? Put a timeline. That will give you the motivation and the drive to keep pushing. And it also puts pressure on your subconscious to begin to release the ideas that you need, to begin to attract the things that you need for that goal, the people. Practical strategy for goal setting. There's goal hierarchy and prioritization. We learned about this in the case study. There is long-term goal, 5 to 10 years, career, major life achievements. There's mid-term goal, 1 to 3 years. Then there is what the short term, the mid-term should be leading to the long term, because you can't have a long-term goal that is different from the short term and the mid-term. Because whatever it is that you're working now and in the mid-year, mid-term is supposed to be leading towards the long-term goal. So those are the categories that we have. So every single day we wake up, there are things that we should be doing that is supposed to be leading us to our mid-term goals and our long-term goals. It could be little things like prayer and meditation, just seeing the outcome, the final, the long-term thing. It hasn't happened, but seeing it every day. That's an action. So everything adds up to the big term goal. Now we are supposed to put a monitoring to be able to track or monitor your progress. That's part of goal setting. We read it in the case study, how Wealth created a spreadsheet to be able to track his progress. You should be able to do that. Anybody can be able to do that. The things that you need to do, you outline everything, the little things that you need to do. You'll be able to track your progress. Have I done this? Check. 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 You can do it on paper. I do it every time. Like this month of October, I know the goals that I wrote out, the things that I want to achieve this month. And every day I go, which one have I done? Which one have I done? And I am happy to announce to us, because we did get another grant from Ford Foundation to set up this computer lab. We prayed for it. We worked hard for it by setting up the first one in the first place. And they gave us this grant. And I'm happy to announce that the money they gave us have been successfully, all of it has been successfully invested into this work. That's why all of this work is going on. So now, some of the things that I put on my goal, even before the money came, we need to put AC inside this office. At least Coach Christine and all the people that have come here, when you come again, this office will not be hot again. AC will be blowing you to be cool. We have AC here, brand new. We are installing another one in the center. So all the heat problem over. I wrote it there. AC. What else? Computer, buy the computers, software, everything. I listed, broke everything down. So if I have put everything, all these things that I listed out on a spreadsheet, it's just for me to go and just be marking it, tracking, okay, which one have I not done? Okay, we've done this. There are so many things that we plan to do this month. And I'm telling you, if I go back to that list, it's not like out of 10 things, I think we've done 7. The remaining 3, they are really heavy things. I'm really trusting God. I'm just stepping aside as an observer to see how God will bring this one, because this one, I have no idea how I'm going to do this one. But those small ones we have done. So we should be able to track and monitor our progress, be able to overcome obstacle, being able to bounce back from setback, learning from failure, finding your why, celebrating small wins. In fact, let me even add overcoming obstacle. I faced a major obstacle, when the computer that I wanted to buy, it was priced, the model that we were going to buy, because we want to do new computers. So the one that we saw for the basic computing that we want to teach was 390,000 naira. 400, see, I've made the same mistake again. 490,000 naira for one. So when I was calculating, I don't know why I calculated it at 390,000. By the time I multiplied it by 10, the amount is not going to be the same when it's 490,000. So I made that mistake and I didn't know. And I calculated every other thing that we wanted to buy. And, I went and paid them at 390,000 naira. When they received the money, they said, madam, how much did you send to us? I confidently told them how much I sent. They said, but that's not the amount. That was when I realized I removed 100,000 from each, which is a lot of money. And by this time, we had already invested all the money in all the other things that we needed to do. So we are short of how much? 1 million naira now for our 10 computers. So I'm throwing this open because if you want to be part of this thing, want to sow into this project, how did I respond to it? As in, I wanted to, oh my God, what did I just do? What did I just do? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. And all of those things. Was it 1 million? I can't even remember how much short we are. But I said to myself, that was a mistake. That was just an obstacle. I made a mistake. And right now, we don't have the money to pay for the remaining ones. I just told them, just keep the one, just keep that one, keep it, keep the money. And before the end of the month, we believe that something will come in for us too. But if we are not able to get it, then you're going to supply us the number that's the money that we sent can buy. Simple. Should I go and kill myself? So we should also be able to learn how to overcome this kind of obstacle, because this is enough to make somebody lose sleep because it's not working. That was not the plan. This is not what we want. This is not how we planned it. Things just shifted like that. So we should be able to have that resilience, ability to bounce back. I'm also opening this to anybody that is here. You want to be part of the amazing work that we're doing here. You can donate for us to finish paying our computers. Only 1 million naira. And you will see how God is going to multiply that money back to you 100-fold. So let's just round up now. We've talked about creating a vision board. If you're here and you don't have a vision board, please get yourself a vision board. You can go on Canva, go on Google and pick images, or you can even go to Google Gemini, describe what you want, and the image will produce for you. And if it's something that is in line with what you're believing, you can put that image on your vision board. Like, technology has made it so easy. We do not have any excuse. We all should be believing God for big things. It doesn't mean that it will manifest in 6 months. It might take 10 years. Like I talked about this transformation, it took 10 years for us to move into this place. From the first time I started thinking about, this whole thing. From the first time I started thinking about it took 10 years. But I'm telling you, it took less than 2 years from the time that I put the picture on the vision board, printed it and put it in front of me. 2 years. So what is that thing that you're trusting for? No matter how big it is, put it on your vision board and leave it there. I have a friend that posted something on social media recently. She posted herself with an Oyibo man and wrote a long story, her experiences with men, people that have come to, marry her, but didn't work. But finally, she got the man that he wants, Oyibo man that she has always wanted. But by then she came to the end. I was so excited. I was so good, like, about to say congratulations. And at the end, she now said, please, join your faith with me so that this dream will manifest. I sent her a message. I said, put that picture on your vision board. And she laughed, but I meant what I said. Carry that picture and put it on your vision board. I have this picture I have on my vision board. It's a certain lady with a very nice figure, I got that picture when I had my first son. I saw it. I said, this is what I want to look like even after my babies. I downloaded that picture. I've had that picture now for like 16 years. It's still on my vision board. Anytime my body wants to start growing fat, to become bigger than what that thing is, there is this internal thermometer that kicks in. All the things that I like will just shut down. I cannot even eat chocolates. Like, when I think about it, as in everything that I would have eaten to make me pass that stage will just shut down until my weight is like an internal thermostat. Until my weight comes back to that place, then everything will open again. So you can program yourself for success with these tools. These are tools that we have been using to program ourselves for success. So if you don't have a vision board, please do yourself a favor and get one today. Stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating, because this might be one of the things that is stopping you from the things that you want. So daily visualization practices will end with this slide, because I think that we have learned some practical things that we can even begin to implement immediately. These are things that you can also teach the young people. My children, they have vision boards, they have things that they are declaring every day, affirmations that they are making every day for their future. So that by the time they get to, in the next 10 years or 20 years, when other people's children that don't know these things are beginning to learn them, they are already reaping the harvest of it. So when I'm teaching my children to be talking about, declaring about their marriages, that they are going to have the best marriages, they will find the people that God has called for them, people that have the same alignment in values, people that they will serve God together, people that will love them unconditionally, they will also love unconditionally. Things like, when I tell them to make this declaration, people be like, why? Children are just 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. But guess what? In the next 10 years or 20 years, when their mates will now start praying prayer requests for marriage, they will be collecting the best, and they will be the best in the market too, that the right people will be collecting. So they said the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So we can begin these affirmations, mindfulness, visualizations, to keep those things that we desire before us. And with this, we have come to the end of this lecture. Any questions? Let's see if we have any comments. Please, we need to interact on this for the next 10 minutes before we go. Someone says, why? So if I have a vivid imagination, can they leave out the vision board? If you do have a vivid imagination, you can. But you know, the vision board also keeps it before you. It's not every time that you're imagining it. That's why they say you put your vision board where you go to every day, like your bathroom window, your fridge, the door of your refrigerator, or the door of your wardrobe. When you see it every day, as in, it's not like your intention is as long as it's there, as in your conscious mind may not be seeing it, but your subconscious mind is taking note of it because it's there right before you. So even if you have a vivid imagination, it's okay for you to, this is like an extra step. And you are also going to be practically teaching, like if you have children in your house, practically teaching children, this is a success principle. This is a success. I remember one day I was having a conversation with my daughter in the US, and she said, Mommy, I'm just so happy for you because I remember all those times that we've been talking about this center. I'm so happy that the thing has finally happened. How is she able to know that this center has finally happened? Because it's been in the vision board, I've been declaring it in their presence all these years. So I've taught her something that she can also put into practice. So that's why it's good to actually have a physical, so that the children can see it. And when it happens, they know that, yes, wow, we did it. So please, interactions. Coach Christine, please, I want to know why you said this wow. Are you on call?
I'm here, but in a noisy place.
I'm not hearing any noise, though.
No, I said wow because of the new transformations in the transformation center. I was just excited.
Okay.
When you said, by the time we come, we'll not recognize the place. So I was like, wow.
Yes, yes, yes. So amazing. Please, let us have an interaction on this. How many of you have a vision board? And what do you have on the vision board? I think everybody can speak on this. We have 10 more minutes. We are even out of time, but we can do 10 more minutes and then we go. Who wants to share? Just inspire us, encourage us with stories of your vision board. But I have to say something. The first time I did a vision board was in 2018. That was when I started learning about this personal development and some of these things. I did a vision board in 2018. Was it 2018? Yes, by the end of 2018, not one thing on that vision board had manifested, not one, not one. So by the time we got to December, I'm like, well, there's no need doing a new one since nothing has happened. I just carried it over to 2020, 2019. And that was when things started happening, There are still things that have not happened yet, but the ones that have happened, I will remove, add new pictures, I keep improving and expanding. Please, let's interact on what are your learning points on vision board? I'm sure I'm not the only one in class, please.
Hello,
Okay.
sis. Okay, someone is here.
Hello, Coach Jenny.
Yes, ma. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so let me share quickly on my vision board journey. The first time I created a vision board, it was like with Legacy Mastermind. That was what inspired me, particularly after one session we had in 2020 when we were saying let's come in our future self, dress the way you would like, your future self and all of that. It was after that experience I had some, vivid picture of what I really wanted for myself. And it was still with Legacy Mastermind. I created my first, vision board, not just here and there, intentionally created one. So it has really helped me because I see that thing every time. I have the long-term vision. For example, one of my goals, the one I put there, first class BSc, first class master, first class PhD. So, and then that's the big vision. And then beside that, I always put my semester result ahead of time. I'll write out all my courses, put the scores, put the grade, beside it like that. After each semester, I will put it, I'll put another one and all of that. So I have rounded up the degree program, and by the grace of God, it is the results that we have been envisioning. That is what we are expecting. Yes, as at 1 week ago, I have seen 9 courses of my final exams out of 11. And in the 9 courses, there are 8 distinctions, 1B. I already know what is in the other 3 by God's grace. And that has been how the results, all the courses, credits in all the courses for the years. So over to the next, which is first class masters. All right. So another area in my vision board journey is my babies. As at that time we had that conversation, it was in 2020. The previous year I had just lost, my first baby, Heaven's Gain anyway. All right. So fast forward to now. What is in that vision board is 2 boys, 2 girls. Now I have 2 boys, 1 girl. So the vision board
Yeah, you
journey.
actually have 2 boys. You actually have 2 girls. It's just that you're not
Yes,
calculating your heaven's game.
yes. All right. So then another one in that vision board is about my business. That time we started, I always tell this story that the what really made me start thinking this writing thing first was when I had a podcast with a friend on my story of restoration, pain to purpose. After that score, our coach was like, why not turn this thing into a book? I said, I'm thinking about it too. I wrote my first book. In fact, she was my editor for that first book. When I showed her the book content, she was like, what is this? You mean I need a dictionary to read your story? Like, if you want to tell a story, go ahead and tell the story now. I wanted to cry. I had to start all over, like it was a bad bash. I completely transformed that book and really made it a story. And anytime I look back, with all that I know now as a content writer, owning a content writing agency, when I still open that book, I feel like, wow, how could I have done this well for the first time? you know you know so it was still that this vision board journey. I put that idea, content plug, a content writing agency. So far the progress I've been making it from that idea, like I'm like, seriously, and I can go on and on, but it's a beautiful strategy to put what you are hoping for before you. It just gives you that energy. As the more you see it, the more ideas for you to implement to get to that destination. It just flows, and you get this accountability. You hold yourself accountable that this is possible and you are working towards it. Thank you, ma.
Wow, thank you so, so much. Like, I know Jenny's story, Jenny's journey, so I can really attest that everything she's saying here is true. I've known Jenny before she got married. Now I know Jenny after 4 children. It's been an amazing journey. In fact, I am so proud of Jenny and all that she has accomplished for herself. Please, does anybody have any other story they want to share with us?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
So
afternoon.
I just want to talk about my vision board briefly. So the first time I did vision board, um, Ogachiko, I think you were the one who talked to us about it. And then I also had a friend who also mentioned it and all. So I went to Canva and I put some things together, the things I wanted. I put a house because I wanted a house. I put investments, I had this picture where they put like they sowed coins into a soil and then it started growing. There were like green um plants sprouting out of it. So like investments growing and all that. I had a whole bunch of things. I had doing courses and everything. And after that first year, nothing, not even one came true. And I kept on wondering that, what is all this now? And the vision board was always before me because I used it as my screensaver, my phone screensaver. So it's always there. I always see it. And when I see it, I smile, I declare, oh, I affirm that these are mine and all. But not one came to pass the first year. I was like, now wow, that this vision journey thing, is not as easy as we thought it was. And so I carried it over to the next year. And when I did that, after a while, I just asked myself that I wasn't seeing the manifestation of this. The investments I wanted to do, they did not lead anywhere and all. So I removed it from my screensaver. I put something else. But the thing is, I have a very vivid imagination. A thought can drop in my mind, and before I'll just sit and be ruminating on it. Before you know, it paints a very vivid picture. It can even start running as a video. I can tell you the end of the story. Tomorrow, that thought will come again, and I'll keep on ruminating and ruminating. So I noticed that the things that I had achieved were not on my vision board. They were the things that I was imagining. For example, I didn't think of writing a book. I was just having a discussion with Ogochukwu one day, and she was like, I told her what I wanted to do with the teenagers that I teach in church. And she told me, so write a book now. I was like, no, now. Ogochukwu, you help me write the book and everything. So I'll just take the book. And she was like, no, I'm not going to help you do that. You will do it yourself. Ha. I said, okay, but I don't know what to write. And she just told me, oh, okay, so I have some materials on this. Do you know you can use it, develop it. Don't worry. Do you know Ogochukwu was on my case? Every time she will call me, each time I see her call, I'll start shaking. And so I just advised myself, see, and start this stuff. Don't let Ogochukwu call you again. The next time she calls you, you better have an answer for her. And that was the motivation I needed. And she put me through, she was with me. Mind you, this wasn't on my vision board. She put me through, she guided me. When I finished, she was my highest cheerleader. She ran with it, she encouraged me. And then it was published, we printed it. And I didn't know how it was going to, I didn't have any thought of selling the book from the onset. I just wanted to use it for the teenagers. And that was just the motivation. That was why I wrote it and all. But Ogochukwu pushed me before I knew what was happening. Um, my pastor in church, he got to find out, was like, oh, give all the teenagers in the church. I wanted to show it to them. Oh, like, give all of them, we'll pay for it. Ha, my mother was like, is that how they used to buy book? And that happened. And I just told myself, I started sewing the original sewing I wanted to do. I sewed it to one teen's church that was not my church and everything. And it gave me joy each time I did that. That was a great achievement, but it wasn't on my vision board. And then I had to go back to that vision board and I realized that maybe the things I put there wasn't for now. For example, the course I wanted to do, yes, I studied food science and technology. I want to go back to study it. I want to further my education in it. But as of right now, I'm not in that field. I'm in human resource right now. And so I need to put courses that will help me, elevate me right now till I go back to school to study that. And the things that are happening around me, the development is towards that human resource, but on my vision board is something else that is there. So I now realize that, okay, so you need to revisit that vision board and set things right. So, that is what I've been doing for investment. At a particular point, things were just coming to me, invest this, invest that. The one that I did, maybe I did not, it just did like as if those people want to Wyoming, but that is totally fine. Another person came up and said, oh, okay, so why don't you do mutual funds and everything? So that's the next step I'm going to do. So that's to show you that the investment that is on my vision board, I'm getting information on it. And that is the next step that, I plan on doing. So that is my journey so far on vision boarding. I know that there are lots of things that I have achieved that are not on the vision board. Rather, my imagination, which is actually very vivid, is what it paints that picture. And by the time I think on it, ruminate it, expand it, build around it, I see myself achieving it. Sometimes I put those things on my vision board so that even if I'm not imagining it at that point in time, I see it on my phone screen. So that's it so far. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Amazing. These things work. That's just what I'm going to say. Like, there are some things that when they are teaching it, you are like, how can just putting a picture somewhere will make it happen? Putting the picture will not make it happen, but putting it before you will help you to be able to recognize the opportunities as they come to you. And as you take those opportunities, you find yourself in that thing. Another thing that we should also know is that when we put things on our vision board, the goal is that we are putting our vision before us, but we have to still create plans that we are actively working towards getting there. Because leaving the picture there alone will not magically make it happen. So even if it's a big goal, even if it's a very huge goal, for me, a big goal that I'm pursuing now is I want to get a new house, not just for me, for PDAC Foundation. So we have created the vision board for that house, and is an image of that, facility, and we put it on our vision board. Guess what I'm practically doing now? What PDAC have done so far, because of course it will cost billions. I said billions to be able to get that kind of land space and build what we want to build. But at least the step that we are taking towards that place is, number one, we're envisioning it, we're thanking God for it, and we are sowing seed. We're looking for people that are building and giving them money, putting our money inside here. Because we also believe in spiritual principles. So that's what we are doing right now. That's what we can do at the moment right now. And that's what we are doing. And as we consistently do this, the next steps will unlock. Don't ask me the next step, I don't know. But I know that it will unlock. And one day, very soon, we will be inside that place. And I still will not be able to tell you how it happened, but it does happen. So on this, let us call it a day. And for me, I feel like today's lesson has been very good and practical. Even me, I'm going to revisit my vision board and see the things that I'm not doing or the things I've not added there and update it. I hope you found this lesson impactful. So let us call it a day. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely, lovely, lovely weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you too. Yay. So if you don't have a vision board, by the time we come for the next class, please have one. Okay. Bye. Okay. You want to say something, Miss Fumi?
Oh my.
Hello?
Hello?
You want to say something, Miss Fumi?
Hello?
Yes, I
Hello?
can hear you. Go ahead. Yes, I can hear you.
Not really, ma. I'm just greeting you. Okay.
Okay.
All
You know,
right. Thank
another
you, ma.
thing something that just popped into my mind immediately I saw your name on screen. Do you know that you can put pictures? I don't know, how old are your children? How old is your oldest child, ma?
Okay, 14.
14. Okay. Do
14.
you know, because
Yeah.
of because of what you shared with us yesterday, the devil has a way of messing with people's mind. Oh, this illness or whatever it is, what if, what if? One thing you can do, you can actually put put up pictures on your vision board of your children's college graduation. Put up pictures of wedding ceremonies of your children. Put up pictures of grandchildren. Like, this is you seeing that far, seeing you that far. And if you can see
Ma,
you that far,
Ma,
can you
Jesus,
hear me?
Jesus. I can hear you. Do you know this thing you are saying is just what I received just now before you said it? As we are
Wow.
talking, I received it. I just had it in my spirit that I should just do that. Anything that I feel like about my children, I want them to achieve. I should just go and put it there. I received it. Wow.
Wow. So this is a confirmation. This is a
Wow.
confirmation. As far as your eyes can see, don't stop anywhere. There is a story of a man that they gave a diagnosis. I think the child was about 7 years. I can't remember. So she went to the psychologist or something and they told him to do that. But the only thing that he was able to see was he was able to see far enough for the child to graduate. That was where he stopped. Guess what? The child was 13 years, I think. And by the time the child graduated, just 2 to 3 weeks after the graduation, the man died. That was
Wow.
the farthest he could see. But he
Hmm.
was alive enough. This was somebody they said was going to die within a month. But he lived to like 8 years to see the child's graduation. And 2 weeks afterwards, he died.
Hmm.
So the coach that coached him said that that was his mistake because he did not teach him to see farther than that graduation. So he only anchored the image on the graduation. So immediately they got to the graduation, there was nothing else he could see. Therefore, there was no reason for him to still be here. So the initial image now kicked in and he died in 2 weeks' time.
Wow. Wow.
So that's why I'm talking about grandchildren now,
Okay.
not just graduation.
Yes, ma.
So as far as your eyes can see.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you,
everyone,
ma. So
and
what
bye.
happened? Sorry, ma. Hello? Okay,
Yes,
bye.
yes. What
Okay,
did you
you talk
say?
about a journal. I remember a journal you talk about. Can you, I don't know, I would love to have that journal. I don't know. You mentioned a journal that time when you were teaching that was able
Yes, yes,
to help
yes.
you for being organized
Yes.
and all of those things.
It's
So
available. I can actually
because I've
check.
been looking.
Yes,
Okay,
I can check for you at I can check for you. It's
okay,
a
ma'am.
1 year journal. So if you get it now, that means you're going to start writing from October because it's January to December.
Okay,
So you
okay,
start
ma'am.
writing from October, then end of the year, then you begin the January. So I can do, and I don't know how much it is now, but I'm on the Bible Wonderland property. So before I leave now, I'll go there
Okay,
and get a price for you.
okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Mm.